Okay, this video blog is sort of a reaction to Thursday's class and today's class, and kind of our talk about charter schools. I think it's been really well coming into this. Um, I had really only had the lens of charter schools from back home. I am from New Jersey, an area that's probably it's 30 minutes outside of New York City, so it's a New York City suburb. Um, fairly wealthy community. I went to a very small school district because our town was small, but our public school district has always been ranked in the top 10 public school districts in the state of New Jersey, so it was never really a need to get schooling outside of our district because we were always testing and the high percentages had very good school budgets, so we had a lot of resources and good teachers and all of that. So I was never really exposed to any types of alternative schooling. So this whole week has been really informative, just because I didn't really even realize the extent to how prevalent they are in society now, or how big of a movement or push there is for all these different types of alternative schools. Because it just was never something that was on my radar or my parents' radar. Um, of course, there were private schools in our area, but it never really made sense for you to go to a private school when our public school is so good, because our parents were already paying so much in property taxes that why would they then pay to go to a private school when the kids from our public high school were going to the same type of colleges that the kids from the private schools were going to. So, getting this whole insight into charter schools has been really interesting. It's also been really interesting because my dad works in finance and he invests. He's an investor, so he is the person that goes around and he manages different hedge funds or mutual funds and invests them for the small company that he works for in New York City. It's a family run business that he has been a part of for 30 years now. So it's kind of interesting to be out here and read different types of literature, like the school reform landscape that talks a lot about charter schools, and just my experiences back home with listening to parents talk about investing in new companies that are growing, and that's how they make their money. And then also knowing sort of the New York City, New Jersey school systems just from my experiences there, and just the way people look at things back home versus how they view things back here. I think it's been a really good mixture and exposure to charter schools, and I'm not really sure quite yet how I feel about them or what I think about them, and I think that's partly because I still don't entirely understand all of the legislation and the nitty gritty policy or laws, I guess they have to follow, not laws, but regulations they have to follow in conjunction because they are publicly and privately run. So I think just more comprehension of that aspect of it would maybe help me make a better decision as to what I think about them. But I really like the contrast between yesterday's class and watching the information about the New York City Harlem Success Schools and charter schools and kind of the impact it's had there, and then listening to Nora talk today. I thought she gave a really good, unbiased opinion of them. I think going forward, also to help my understanding or help me, I don't know, base my decision about whether I'd like charter schools or not. I think it obviously is clear now that it's really dependent on the area that you are referring to and the people who are running the school, the charter school, and the funding they get, or the people who are in charge of the league of charter schools in that particular state or city that is running these charter schools. I think it just it gets down to the fact that like it's all really individual and depends on the area. I would just like to know more about sort of what type of follow up or what type of services, or exactly how are these charter schools held accountable for non discriminatory actions towards students. I understand that that's the law for like everyone, but I think that just through our different readings and exposures to movies and whatnot, that kind of can still be an issue, even though they could legally get in a lot of trouble. So I think that's something that I would like to know, if kind of what follow up or how exactly are they held accountable. And I guess that's kind of what I meant to ask Nora today, but didn't really phrase it correctly. Just more detail of how exactly is this followed through, in terms of, because Mane, you had sent that article last night about the Success Academy, and we had read in the School from Landscape how like they kind of, some schools, again it's dependent on the charter school and the administration and the board of directors. So I don't know. I've really enjoyed it. I think it's been really interesting to hear all the different points of view, and all the different, just be exposed to all the different kind of ways charter schools can be used in different areas, and how it really comes down to the school's specific mission and how they do have the opportunity to determine their own mission, and how that mission then affects the school's dynamics.